Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be tackling something I know a lot of you have been, you know, asking about and are ready to kind of dig into, and that's RPA.
Robotic Process Automation.
Yeah, Robotic Process Automation, RPA, and specifically you're looking for some advice on, how to actually get this going in your organization, not just the theory, but how to really put this into practice.
So actionable insights.
Yeah. Actionable insights.
So to help us with this today, we are going to be looking at UiPath's ebook, Automate to Thrive, 8 Steps to Launch Your Automation Journey.
This is a fantastic resource.
Yeah.
Because it's not just, kind of a general overview of RPA,
right,
but it's actually packed with advice from companies who have done this.
Right. So like real world examples of this way.
World examples from, folks in the trenches who have successfully implemented these automations.
Okay. So I'm excited to dig in. So the ebook kind of jumps right in with a really powerful message, and it's just do it.
And, I can already hear some of you out there thinking well, that's easier said than done, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Where do we even begin?
That's where I think this ebook is really interesting, because they address that feeling head on.
Okay.
That feeling of being overwhelmed.
Right.
And they debunk this misconception that you need to automate 100% of a process, right out of the gate.
So you're saying we don't need to boil the ocean?
I don't need to boil the ocean. Just dip your toe in.
Let's dip our toes in. I like that.
Start somewhere, and even automating a small part of a process can yield significant benefit.
Okay, so just to play devil's advocate here, wouldn't it be more efficient to map out the entire process and then just kind of automate everything at once?
Well, I mean, it sounds more efficient on paper,
right? But
in reality, that can be a recipe for disaster. Oh. And one of the experts they quote in this book is Sean Leising, who's the CEO of Rapidmation, which is an intelligent automation company. And he says that RPA is no longer a competitive advantage. It's about when you implement it. So the longer you wait,
right,
the further behind you fall.
That's a good point. Because it's not like, will we do this? It's like, when?
Exactly.
Okay, so it's better to kind of start small and iterate than to aim for perfection from the get-go.
Yes.
Especially for, I'm thinking really large organizations with these really complex processes.
Yeah.
To automate the whole thing right away would just be
a nightmare.
Yeah, a total nightmare.
Yeah.
So we need to kind of embrace this agility and be prepared to adapt as we go, which brings us to step 2. Start small, fail fast.
There it is.
Now fail fast, I don't know. I'm a little hesitant about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it sounds a little counterintuitive, right?
It is.
But it's a crucial part of the process. Yeah. Because you might be thinking, okay, my organization is huge. Where do I even begin?
Right. Exactly.
Right. That's exactly where this start small philosophy comes in.
Okay.
Think of it like a pilot project. Choose a small, manageable process, assemble a small, dedicated team, and just get to work.
Okay, I see the logic here, but what if this pilot project fails?
Okay.
What if it just totally flops?
Yeah.
Won't that discourage people from embracing RPA?
Well, not necessarily.
Okay.
The key is to create a culture where failure is seen as a learning opportunity.
Right.
Not a setback. You're not aiming for perfection. You're aiming for progress. And
by starting small, you're minimizing the risk.
Yeah.
While maximizing the opportunity to learn and adapt.
Exactly. And they give a good example of this in the ebook. They talk about Singapore's Accountant General Department.
Okay.
And they started their RPA journey with a small team and a very specific process. And Paul Loke, who's their chief information officer, said that these initial small successes were key to getting everyone on board.
Okay.
It helped to build momentum and demonstrate the tangible benefits of RPA.
So it's almost like a proof of concept.
Yeah.
That you can then show people and say, look what we did.
Exactly.
And then everyone gets excited about it.
Exactly.
Okay.
But why not just mandate it from the top down? Why not just say, hey, everyone, we're doing RPA?
You could try that. Or they're like the pioneers of office efficiency.
Exactly. The citizen developers.
Yeah.
These are the folks that are naturally curious about technology and have a knack for problem solving.
Okay.
They're the ones that are always tinkering with new tools and finding ways to automate their own tasks.
Right. Those are the people we want to find.
Absolutely.
How do we identify these RPA evangelists? Do we just make a big announcement and hope they come running?
No. it's about showcasing the potential of RPA in a way that captures their imagination.
Okay.
You know? And Sports SG, which is a statutory board under the Ministry of Culture, Community, and Youth of Singapore, took a really interesting approach.
Okay.
They used small successes, like automating a specific report or task to demonstrate the power of RPA and get people excited.
Okay.
And Gary Nang, who's their CIO, believes that showcasing these small wins is key to building confidence in RPA among those employees that might be a little bit hesitant.
Oh, so it's about planting seeds and then letting the excitement kind of spread organically.
Exactly.
Okay. But what about those employees who might be intimidated by RPA?
Right.
Or worried about their jobs being replaced by robots? I mean, that's a legitimate concern, right?
It is a legitimate concern.
Yeah.
And that's where step 4 comes in. Win over your employees.
Okay. So how do we do that? How do we convince people that this is a good thing and not something to be feared?
It starts with communication.
Yeah.
You need to be upfront about the potential impact of RPA and address people's concerns head on. And here's the key. Emphasize the collaborative nature of RPA.
Okay.
It's not about robots replacing humans. It's about humans and robots working together to achieve greater efficiency and productivity.
So it's not about eliminating jobs. It's about transforming them.
Yes.
Right. So making them more interesting and fulfilling by taking away those tedious, repetitive tasks.
Exactly. Think about, your marketing team being able to use RPA to automate their social media posts. So that frees them up to focus on creative strategy.
Right. So that they can do the thinking work.
Exactly.
Not the,
Just easy work.
The busy work.
Or your finance department, using it to reconcile invoices so that they can, analyze financial data.
Okay, yeah, those are great examples because it paints this picture of how RPA can actually empower employees, not replace them.
Right.
Okay, so even with the best communication, there might still be some resistance. What else can we do to kind of win over those employees?
Well, the eBook suggests some really practical strategies, like things like trials, proofs of concept, and even hackathons.
I love that.
Hackathon. BlueScope Steel, which is a global steel manufacturer, actually used hackathons to engage employees and get them excited about RPA.
Wow.
And Stephanie Janowska, who works on their automation team, believes that engaging employees at all career stages and making them part of the RPA journey is key to success.
So it's about, turning it into a fun collaborative challenge rather than just this top-down mandate.
Exactly.
I like that. Okay, so once we have our employees on board,
yes,
what's the next step?
Training for the future. That's step 5.
Okay, so training makes sense, but what kind of training are we talking about here? I mean, are we sending everyone to coding boot camp?
Not necessarily. It doesn't have to be that intense.
Okay.
The eBook emphasizes the importance of building a robust training infrastructure for those citizen developers.
Right.
This could involve online courses, workshops, mentoring programs, or even creating an internal RPA community where people can share knowledge and best practices.
So it's not just about providing the technical training. It's about building this culture of continuous learning and support.
Yes. And Kyron Lum from Singtel, which is a telecommunications company, said something that really resonated with me. He said, RPA is an investment in people and their digital skills. So it's about equipping them for the future of work.
Yeah.
Not just teaching them how to use a specific software program.
Yeah. Right. It's giving them the tools and the knowledge that they need for whatever comes next.
Absolutely.
That's a really powerful way to think about it. But, training takes time.
Right.
It takes resources.
Yeah.
So what's the return on investment here? What are the benefits of having a workforce that's skilled in RPA?
Well, the benefits are multifaceted. First, it increases efficiency and productivity.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Imagine how much faster and more accurately your employees can complete tasks when they have the power of automation at their fingertips.
Okay. I see how that can save time and money. But what about the employees themselves? How does RPA benefit them?
It empowers them to work smarter, not harder. By automating those tedious, repetitive tasks. Employees are freed up to focus on more challenging and rewarding work.
Correct.
This can lead to increased job satisfaction, greater creativity, and a sense of ownership over their work.
Wow. That's a win-win.
It is.
But let's be realistic. Not everyone is going to be thrilled about learning new skills.
Right.
Or adapting to new ways of working. How do we address that?
You have to acknowledge that change can be challenging. The key is to make the transition as smooth as possible by providing ample support, clear communication, and celebrating those early successes.
Right. So it's about creating a culture where learning and growth are encouraged and rewarded.
Yes.
Okay, I can see how that would make a huge difference in the success of an RPA implementation. But what happens after the initial training? Like, do we just let people loose and hope for the best?
Not quite. That brings us to step 6. Do not set and forget. One of the biggest mistakes companies make is thinking that RPA is a one-time implementation. It's not. It's an ongoing journey that requires constant attention, maintenance, and optimization.
Okay, so that makes sense, but what does that ongoing maintenance look like?
Well, think of it like owning a car.
Oh, well.
You can't just buy a car and expect it to run perfectly forever.
Right.
You need to change the oil, rotate the tires, and take it in for regular checkups.
Okay.
RPA is no different.
Oh, I like that. That's a good analogy.
It needs ongoing care.
Yeah, because you're right. You can't just set it and forget it.
Exactly.
So, but who's responsible for this ongoing maintenance? Is it the IT department?
It's a collaborative effort that involves IT business users and those citizen developers that we talked about earlier.
Okay, so you've got kind of everybody working together.
And Ruth Santangelo from Optus, which is an Australian telecommunications company, advises building a proactive maintenance culture to avoid those, dreaded round-the-clock support calls.
Oh, yeah. Nobody wants that.
And unexpected breakdowns.
Right. So it's about having a team of people who are constantly monitoring the RPA systems, identifying potential issues, and making adjustments as needed.
Exactly.
It sounds like a full-time job.
It can be, especially as your RPA implementation scales up.
Okay.
But the benefits far outweigh the costs.
So to recap, we've covered the importance of starting small, winning over employees, providing adequate training, and ensuring ongoing maintenance. But there's one key player we haven't talked about yet. The IT department.
Right.
So how do we get IT on board?
That's step 7.
Okay.
Get IT on board. Involving IT early in the RPA journey is absolutely crucial for a number of reasons. They're the ones that understand your company's technology infrastructure, security protocols, and data governance policies.
Okay. Yeah, I see why they need to be involved.
Yeah.
But, sometimes IT departments can be seen as a roadblock to innovation.
Right.
Because they're often focused on mitigating risk, not embracing new technologies. So how do we convince them that this is a good thing?
Communication is key.
Yeah.
You need to clearly articulate the benefits of RPA and address their concerns head on.
So it's about building a bridge between the business side, which often wants to move very quickly, and the IT side, which is like, whoa, hold on a second.
Right.
Let's make sure everything is secure and stable.
Absolutely.
Right.
And Scott Robson from DXC Consulting, which is a global IT services company, suggests holding workshops to showcase RPA tools and address any security concerns.
So it's about building a collaborative relationship.
Exactly.
Rather than working in silos. Yeah, that's so important. But, IT is often stretched thin, so how do we get them to prioritize this?
Well, frame it as a way to improve their own work lives. RPA can automate many of the tedious tasks that IT departments are bogged down with, which frees them up to focus on more strategic initiatives.
Oh. So it's not just about helping the business, it's about helping IT as well.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a really good point. But ultimately, RPA is all about the customer, right?
Absolutely. And that brings us to our final step for today. Step 8. Understand what customers want.
Okay, this one really intrigues me. How does RPA factor into customer experience?
Well, think about it this way. RPA can be a game changer for customer service.
Correct.
It can automate tasks like responding to inquiries, processing orders, and resolving issues, which frees up your customer service agents to handle more complex and personalized interactions.
So it's about using RPA to enhance the human touch, not replace it.
Exactly. And this is especially important in contact centers, where agents are often overwhelmed with high call volumes and repetitive tasks.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The eBook suggests spending time with your customer service agents to understand their pain points and the needs of their customers.
So we're not just implementing RPA for the sake of automation, we're doing it to improve the customer experience.
Precisely. And Chris Watt from RACQ Group, which is an Australian membership organization, put it perfectly when he said that your agents can either be your biggest advocates for RPA or they can decide it's not bringing value. So it's crucial to demonstrate how RPA can benefit both the agents and the customers they serve.
That's such a good point. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground already.
Yeah.
It's incredible how much practical advice is packed into these 8 steps.
It really is. And remember, all of this wisdom is coming from real companies who have successfully navigated their own RPA journeys.
Right. They've been there, done that, and this is what they learned.
Exactly.
So we can learn from them. That's fantastic. Okay, so we've unpacked the first 4 steps. And I'm already feeling like a lot more confident about tackling RPA and my own organization.
Good.
But before we dive into the next 4 steps, I want to leave you with a question to ponder. Of the steps we've discussed so far, which one resonates with you the most and why? Take some time to reflect on that, and we'll pick up the conversation in part 2 of this deep dive.
Looking forward to it.